Welcome to Living Your Path. I am Cecile Ferry, a coach and astrologer. I'm here to guide you on how to live and work in alignment with your true self so you can find fulfillment and serenity. Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to your Cosmic Catch-Up for week commencing the 24th of November. So I'm still sick, so I'm hoping that I'm going to sound okay and get through this podcast episode without coughing too many times, but I will edit those out, don't you worry. So another interesting big week. The whole month of November has been quite full on astrologically. And the keyword I came up with for this week is integration. So there's been a lot, and this week we have two planets moving direct, which means they're ending their retrograde. That's Saturn and Mercury. So that's why we're going to start integrating a lot of that. But we're not fully out of it. It's still very much happening. And I don't know you, but Mercury retrograde in Scorpio has been so insightful for me, has brought up so many ahas and reflections, like nearly too many, to be honest. And I'm still unpacking some of that. So maybe you have experienced the same. That is really what Mercury retrograde does in Scorpio, and it's going to be there until really the end of the week. So it's normal if you still getting little flashes of insights and just grab those nuggets. When something happens and you feel a little flustered, or you feel annoyed about something, or you feel stressed about something, take that as an entry point to dig down into what's underneath. That's what I've been doing in the last week, and it has brought so many really worthwhile aha moments for me, and pretty huge progress in terms of my emotional life and my psychology. And this is all free. Don't even need to go to a therapist. So maybe that's also what's happening for you this week. Now, I wanted to talk about Sagittarius season because we changed the sun enter Sagittarius late last week, and maybe you started feeling the change in the air because Scorpio season is very deep and heavy work. But I will say, because we still have Mercury retrograde in Scorpio and we still have Venus in Scorpio, this week I think we'll still feel a little bit Scorpio-ish more than Sagittarius. Nevertheless, we've got Sagittarius energy for the next month, and I want to say happy birthday to my Sagittarius listeners. And I want to cover that here because it will gradually shift, and maybe you have already felt it. Because Sagittarius is, I think, a fun sign. It has a much lighter and faster energy to it because it's a fire sign. And Sagittarius is about going up, so to speak, because think of the symbol of the arrow shooting up in the sky. That is Sagittarius. So maybe at times we might shoot a little bit too far ahead and too fast. But what I love is this surge of new, fresh energy, of optimism, of confidence and faith. Right? Because we have learned so much about ourselves through Scorpio season. Then Sagittarius is like, we are ready to get on our way and to move forward in the world again. And we do that by exploring. It's a lot about going on an adventure and travel, whether it's actual physical travel or it's a metaphorical sense of travel. Sagittarius is all about expanding the mind. So think renewed curiosity, think, having more confidence and taking a leap forward into a new place we want to experience or we want to explore. It's also a lot about belief, Sagittarius, so a great time to look into what do you really believe and to kind of lift yourself up to have the bird's eye view of your life and look at the bigger picture. So some questions for you to ponder during Sagittarius season. Where do you need a little adventure? Where do you want to go and explore? Which part of your life? And look at your chart where the sun is currently passing and transiting. Which house is that? That's the house where you should look at your belief, but also you might need a little exploration, experimentation, adventure. Also ask yourself, what expands your mind? And that answer is very personal. We don't all have the same. For some of you, it's going to a movie. Some of you, it's reading a book. Other people, it's sitting in silence. Or it's having conversation with specific people. So whatever it is for you, this is a great time to do that. To feed your mind, not with knowledge, but with actual practical experiences and exploration. So you guessed it, it's time for new activities, new trips, maybe physically like going on hikes and going for a fly somewhere, or also new learnings, maybe new studies of something. Time for those really high-level conversation with people that, you can have those, I won't say deep conversation because that sounds Scorpio-ish, but you know what I mean? This level of quite philosophical, wise conversation about life. This is perfect time for it. Any new situation where you will expand your mind. And ask yourself, where am I ready to take a leap? So you will feel that little surge of, positivity, optimism, and, Sagittarius just goes a little bit like, let's just go. Doesn't ask itself too many questions, and doesn't just sit on it, doesn't have analysis paralysis at all. So just watch out at the same time that you don't go too fast, too soon on something. You could be overlooking a potential risk. You could be a bit overconfident, maybe also a little stuck to those beliefs, and just acting from that place. Or you could be kind of a bit all over the place, exploring a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of that. And meanwhile, you're not sticking with anything. So that's just the side to watch out for. But other than that, great time for a bit more lightness and a bit more freedom and exploration in our lives. Sounds fun and all good to me. Now, I also wanted to mention what's happening with Venus this week. So Venus is in Scorpio right now. It will form a grand trine over the next couple of days with Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Just keep in mind, very positive flow of water energy. So that's a very grounding but also supportive trine for our emotional health and our emotional life. And on Tuesday morning in Australia, it will happen on Monday, the rest of the world, Venus will meet Mercury retrograde. So I think that means those insights are going to be a lot about our relationships. We're going to be getting clarity and then maybe have some conversations with people, even though I recommend holding them for when Mercury moves forward, but at least you will see things about your relationships and your kind of share in it. And then by the end of the week, Venus will be opposite Uranus in Taurus, so we might again see sudden shakeups to our relationships and maybe our finances as well, because that's also Venus. But those shakeups are happening to show us something. So a lot of really interesting insights and knowledge. And then Venus will move in Sagittarius by Sunday. So I'll talk more about that next week. So there's a bit going on with relationships and also some lessons happening there. And then, as I mentioned, we have 2 planets that are ending their retrogrades this week. So I don't know you, but I'm like, woo-ha, when we get there. I love it when planets are moving direct again. Not that retrogrades are bad. They're actually very useful for us to reflect and get a lot of things. And then we can start implementing them. So Saturn has been retrograde in Pisces since middle of July this year. And so that has brought us a lot of insights that we are going to start integrating going forwards between now until it moves into Aries next year. It's the last time, I've said it before, that Saturn is in Pisces for a very long time. So look at the lessons that have come to you in terms of your long-term vision in your life, your boundaries, your responsibilities, and your spiritual practice. Where that happens, but is dependent on where Saturn in Pisces is in your chart. So for me, it's in the 4th house. So all those insights and lessons have to do with my home, family, and my sense of emotional self, my foundation. And they have been a lot. So it's like the insights are going to stop coming, and then we will start really acting on those things, integrating them. And then finally on Sunday in Australia, it will be Saturday, late Saturday, the rest of the world, Mercury will end its retrograde, so yay, probably less issues with transport, communications, diaries and the likes, technology. So that would be nice in order to cope with all the busyness that we have at the end of the year. But really interesting to really see all the lessons that came up, especially when Mercury was in Scorpio, like I said, and start integrating all those insights, all those things that came to light, and potentially having some conversations about that or taking some action, because now is the right time. That is it for this week. A lot happening, but just keep in mind, basically, those planets are finishing up their work. They're showing us the last round of insights about ourselves, and then they will start moving direct and we'll start really putting all of those things into practice. So have a great week. Try to keep slowing down as much as possible whilst we still have those retrogrades at play and before, the Christmas rush hits. So take care, everyone. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.